Hi everybody, I'm Lisa from Cube HR and welcome to the third of our Monday Mode sessions where we've been demonstrating how to carry out some common HR meetings via Zoom and with the help of some of our friends in business. Today we're going to show you how to run through the contract variation process. Whenever you need to change the terms of an employee's contract, you must follow a fair process, which means notifying the employee of the proposed changes and the reasons for the change, asking for their consent and then acting accordingly. If they agree, then great, confirm it in writing and that's you done. But what happens when they don't? Well, today we're going to show you. I'd like to welcome Dean Williams from Unicorn Solutions, who's going to play the part of the employee, and Claire from Cube is acting as chair, and I'll be the note taker and narrator.
Hi Dean, thanks very much for joining me today. Firstly, can I make sure you received the email I sent inviting you to the meeting?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Brilliant. So in the email you were given the right to be accompanied today. I note that you haven't brought anyone with you, so are you okay to carry on?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's carry on.
Now, at the start of the consultation meetings, it's not a legal requirement to have a representative, but you might want to offer one. If you have offered one and they didn't take it, make sure you pop that down in the notes. And of course, if they did bring one, please remember to introduce them.
Thanks, Dean. So what I want to talk to you today is about our proposal to change your working hours and to give you a copy of an amended contract that we'd like you to review. And hopefully you'll like to sign it if you're okay with the proposed changes.
So part of a good contract variation process is how well you communicate the changes to your employees to start with. If you do it well, your employees might be happy to sign the new contract, so you won't need to enter into any further consultation meetings.
So let me tell you about the proposed changes and why we need to make them.
Remember, you need a good rationale to change someone's terms. This could be to reduce costs and avoid redundancies. It could be due to a change in working patterns across the board to maintain operations. Whatever the reason, make sure you are clear. We're going to assume in this instance that we're changing Dean's hours. He currently works from 9 to 5 and we now want him to work between 7 AM and 7 PM with different start times each week. So let's pick up where Claire has explained this to Dean.
Do you understand the proposed changes and why we feel it's necessary?
Well, I understand what you want to happen, but I don't see why I need to change my hours, and I don't see how it'll make a difference. I don't want to have to change what I work. My hours now fit my lifestyle.
Well, as I've explained.
So as you can see, it doesn't look like Dean's going to just agree. He's seeing things from his own point of view, and it's important to get him thinking about the bigger picture. At this point in the meeting, Claire would be encouraging him to think about the team and the business as a whole. So let's assume she's done that and return to the meeting.
So are you now a bit clearer on why we need to make the changes? I know it's hard and it'll have an impact, so we want to give you some time to go away and think about it, and we can maybe pick up in a couple of days with any questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Now, after this meeting, Claire should send Dean an email or a letter outlining the rationale for the proposed changes and asking him to consider signing the new contract, and then inviting him to a further meeting to discuss it. So let's move forward a couple of days now to Claire's next meeting with Dean.
Hi again, Dean. So thanks for your email yesterday. You indicated in your email that you've got some more questions. So the purpose of this meeting is to revisit our proposed changes and answer any questions that you've got.
If I agree to this, will it always stay that way, or can I go back to my normal hours again in the future?
Now, it's important to make clear whether this is going to be a permanent or temporary change to their contract. If it's temporary, make sure any correspondence is clear on that and you have a clear review date. If it's permanent, you need to specify this. It might be that in the current climate that you think it will be temporary, so ensure you agree a date to review and revisit the change.
Do you have any other questions, Dean?
Yeah, well, every other week I have to take my son to school on a Thursday morning as my wife has an early work meeting. I wouldn't be able to work at 7 AM on those days.
Now, here's where we want to work with the employee to resolve the issues. If it's one Thursday a fortnight, could you accommodate him taking his child to school on those days? It really is better to work together to find a solution where possible. We're going to assume that Claire has done this, but now Dean's got further objections. These might be things like not liking getting up earlier, not wanting to miss out on having his evening meal with his family, it's really important to listen and talk through any concerns that each employee might have. Whilst you're likely doing this for the greater good of the company, remember that everybody has their own individual circumstances that need to be considered. You might not be able to accommodate them all, but any suggestions that the employee makes, you should consider them.
So is there anything else you want to ask or discuss?
Now, at this point, they may have reached an agreement, updated the contract to reflect this, and now the employer has signed it, and that would be the end of the process. However, in this example, Dean still doesn't agree.
No, I'm still not happy, so I won't be signing the contract. So now what do we do?
Well, unfortunately, we do believe these changes are needed to ensure the survival of the business. So the next step is for me to invite you to a formal meeting in a few days, and we can move forward from there.
So at this point, Claire's going to need to invite Dean to a formal meeting. She'll have to do that in writing and advise him that he might be dismissed and then offered re-engagement on the new terms. He'll be given the right to be accompanied by a work colleague or trade union rep, and the invite letter should outline the rationale and what's been discussed so far. It should lead to why you are where you are now and why a formal meeting is needed, and it has to mention that the outcome of that meeting could be his dismissal, but you obviously want to offer re-engagement on the new terms. Now, if you get to this stage, it can be very complex, and there's lots of factors that must be taken into consideration to protect you from an unfair dismissal claim, and also any potential discrimination claims, so please do take some advice before confirming any dismissals. If you're unsure on any element of what we've covered today, please contact us and we'll be happy to help.